All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk, the show we cover the swag inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the swag. C. Wells coming at you, and we're gonna wrap up the rest of the games that took place in the postseason tournaments. We had Bethune-Cookman playing Arkansas State in the CBI, Alabama A&M and Texas Southern played in the CIT, and then Grambling had the NCAA tournament game. So we're gonna kind of run through all of these games kind of swiftly and just kind of recap it, and then we'll be back later on this week with some more swag content. Haven't figured out exactly which way I want to go after this, but we'll probably do a couple more basketball videos and then segue into spring football and everything. So with that being said, man, y'all make sure y'all hit those socials: Facebook and Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, and comment. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. Now we're gonna start off with Texas Southern playing Tarleton State in the battle of the TSUs. This game took place on Tuesday. Tigers dropped the 82-71 decision to the Texans. This game was actually it got pretty close in the second half. TSU was down by 10 at the half, but they made it tight, and then Tarleton State kind of pulled away late. Jalen Weisinger led TSU along with Deion Stroud. They both finished with 18 points apiece. Stroud also turned in 6 rebounds. Weisinger had 6 rebounds. Hunter had 6 rebounds. CC had 8. Also, Hunter finished with 15 points. CC finished with 11 points on the night. TSU only brought 7 guys, so they played really undermanned. But they turned out a pretty decent outing. They just couldn't keep pace down the stretch. Four of their 5 starters finished in double figures on the night. They just really couldn't get a lot going on a positive note. They finished shooting 42% on the night, 27 of 64, 7 of 23 from 3 for 30%. They were 5 of 10 from 3 in the second half, so they kind of started to heat up in the second half. They shot 54% from the field as well, so they shot a lot better in the second half, but it would ultimately couldn't get the stops that they needed late. They finished shooting 83% from the free throw line, 10 of 12. Finished the night with 33 rebounds, 9 assists, 10 turnovers, 2 blocks, and 7 steals. They were able to get 34 points in the paint and 11 points off of turnovers, 12 fast break points, and 13 second chance points. This game did have 4 ties and 5 lead changes. It got, like I said, it got kind of interesting down the stretch, but they couldn't make it happen at the end. Lou Williams led Tarleton State with 21 points. He also had 3 rebounds on the night. Finished 7 of 11 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, and 3 of 4 from the line. Ja'Cory Smith, their leading scorer, finished with 16 points and 4 rebounds. Also, Devon Barnes with 13. Keandre Gaddy had 12. Gaddy had a double-double with 12 points and 10 rebounds on the night. And Treviar Jackson also had 10 points off the bench. The Texans would shoot 46% from the field, 30% from 3, including 50% from 3 in the second half, 6 of 12. They were ice cold in the first half. They were 1 of 9 from 3. And then they finished shooting 15 of 19 from the free throw line for 78%. They finished with 41 rebounds. They had 19 assists, 9 turnovers, 4 blocks, and 3 steals. So just their ability to rebound better and make more shots. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but being able to rebound better and make a few more shots is what gave them the victory. They finished with 36 points in the paint, 8 points off of turnovers, 9 second chance points, 6 fast break points, and they got 18 bench points. So for a team that had 7 guys, they gave it all they had. It just wasn't able, to come to fruition when you're playing without one of your top guards in PJ Henry. So they, like I said, they played a kind of a slow first half, but second half they kind of got back into it. But ultimately they just couldn't make it happen, and they came up short. We'll take a look at Alabama A&M next. They took on Austin Peay. That game took place on Wednesday. Big victory on the road for the Bulldogs, 81-71. They led this game basically throughout. They had an 11-point halftime lead, 42-31, and Austin Peay outscored them by 1 in the second half to lose by 10. Bulldogs uh, picked up like I said, this was a big victory on the road for them. Chad Moody, big game for him, 24 points and 5 rebounds on the night. He finished 11 of 13 from the field and 2 of 3 from the line. Amari Peak had 18 points and 7 rebounds. He finished 7 of 13 from the field and 4 of 5 from the line. 11 points for Cameron Tucker as well, and 13 rebounds. So a nice double-double for Tucker. And when your point guard can go for 11 and 13, you're probably going to win a lot of those games. Also, Caleb Blackwell also had 13 points off the bench, another solid performance by a guard. And Randall finished with 9 points as well. Bulldogs finished with 47 rebounds on the night, 11 assists, 17 turnovers, which is still their Achilles heel, 6 blocks and 6 steals. 53% shooting from the field, only 11% from the three-point line, and 75% from the free throw line. So they were able to get this win shooting very, very poorly from outside. They were 1 of 11. They were 1 of 9 from 3. They made their only three-pointer in the first half. But they were still able to shoot over 50% from the field, and that goes a long way. And like I said, they had a tremendous game on the boards. They finished with 50 points in the paint. So they really were aggressive inside, and they finished really well inside. 14 points off of turnovers, 16 fast second chance points, 13 fast break points, and 24 bench points. Game had 2 ties and 1 tie and 2 lead changes. Austin Peay was led by Desi Jones. He had 21 points on the night. Also had 4 rebounds. He was 8 of 18 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and 4 of 5 from the line. They had 4 guys in double figures. Cy Witt had 13 points and 7 rebounds. Dez White had 11 points and 5 rebounds. And DeMarcus Sharp had 10 points off the bench for the Governors. They finished with 29 rebounds, so A&M had their way with them on the boards, almost 20 rebound difference. So they dominated the boards. 10 assists, 11 turnovers, 1 block, and 10 steals. They finished shooting 35% from the field, 20% from 3, 6 of 29, and 77% from the free throw line. So not a great three-point shooting night for anybody in this game, especially in the second half. Nobody really could knock down threes, and Austin Peay just couldn't really make shots nor rebound. They finished with 36 points in the paint, 13 points over turnovers, 12 second chance points, 7 fast break points, and 10 bench points. Bulldogs picked up a big victory. I think they played with great energy, and when you can play like that on the road, especially in a situation where your season is basically over, you find out you got another game, and you have to go on the road and play. I thought they did a good job of responding to that, and even though they didn't shoot well from outside, they shot tremendous from inside the 3-point line, and they rebounded extremely well. And that was probably one of their best games on the boards, and one of their best overall shooting nights, minus the 3-point shooting. And when you can do that and win on the road against a team that doesn't lose at home very much, that's a good thing. And so they advanced to the next round of the tournament, where they would take on Norfolk State on Saturday, and they would be defeated by the Spartans by a score of 81-66. So they went from scoring 81 to giving up 81. They actually had a 3-point lead at the half in this game. Big second half for Norfolk State. Outscoring the Bulldogs by 18 points in the second half, and they were able to basically just take over from there. When you look at this game, this was the tale of 2 halves. Alabama A&M had a solid first half, and then they just kind of fell short. Norfolk State basically overtook them pretty much pretty much by the halfway point of the first half, of the second half. Well, not the halfway point, but they pretty much kind of took control of the game, probably about the 12-minute mark of the game. of the game, and then they just never looked back from there. At the at 11 minutes and 5 seconds left in the game, the score was tied at 45, and that's when the Spartans went on a run and kind of built their lead up, and A&M could never get back in it, and they ultimately just pulled away. They got the lead out the double digits with about 3.5 minutes left in the game, and then they just added to it from there, and were able to seal the deal. So really was a pretty solid game, up until, like I said, about the 11-minute mark of the second half before Norfolk started to kind of assert themselves. Lorenzo Downey finished with 15 points to lead the Bulldogs. He also had 5 rebounds. He was 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, and 4 of 4 from the line. London Riley had 15 points as well for the Bulldogs. He was 4 of 6 from 3 and 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Chad Moody had 14 points and 4 rebounds. Blackwell has 6 rebounds and 7 points. He got the start in this game for A&M. And they just, like I said, they had a great first half. Shot 44% from the field. They shot 50% from 3, 5 of 10, and they were 100% from the line. So they shot really well in the first half. Second half, 37% shooting from the field, 10 of 27, 3 of 9 from 3 for 33%, and 80% from the line, 12 of 15. They shot 40% as a team from the field in the game total, 42% from 3, 8 of 19, and 82% from the free throw line. Finished with 31 rebounds, 14 assists, 14 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 4 steals. They finished the night with 24 points in the paint, 2 points off of turnovers, 12 second chance points, 10 fast break points, and 28 bench points. Game had 4 ties and 8 lead changes. So it was a pretty tightly contested game. Like I said, up until about the 3-minute mark or so when Norfolk finally got the lead in the double digits. Spartans were led by Alan Bertrand with 16 points off the bench. He also had 3 rebounds. He was 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and 1 of 2 from the line. Also, 15 points went to Darrell Anderson. 13 points off the bench to Jack Dumbia, and Chris Fields and Christian Ings had 11 points apiece. So they had 5 guys in double figures on the night. They finished with 38 rebounds, so they out-rebounded the Bulldogs by 7. 18 assists, 7 turnovers, 1 block, and 10 steals. They shot 47% from the field, including 62% in the second half. They were 20 of 32 from the field in the second half. They shot 66% from 3 in the second half, 6 of 9. In the game, they would shoot 8 of 20 from 3. First half, they were only 2 of 11 from 3. So they kind of got their shooting going. First half, they only shot 32% from the field, 18% from 3, and 66% from the free throw line. They would end up shooting 11 of 16 from the free throw line, only 68%. So that's probably the one place they didn't really get better in the second half. But they shot the ball extremely well in the second half from the field and from the three-point line, and that's what put them ahead and gave them an opportunity to take the lead and build the lead up to a double-digit margin and win by 15. They finished with 40 points in the paint, 18 points off of turnovers, 12 fast break points, 45 bench points, and got the big victory over Alabama A&M. Bulldogs season ends. They'll finish the season at 12-23, 9-9 in the conference. So, kind of like I said, at that point, Bulldogs were kind of playing with house money. Nobody expected them to have a postseason after the SWAC tournament. So for them to be able to get into another tournament and actually win a game and advance, I think that's exceeding anything that most people outside of that locker room probably expected. So all in all, it's tough to lose a game like that, but that was extra basketball for you. So you had a chance to get more practice time for some of the younger guys and get a couple more games under the belt of younger guys and, build some momentum for next season. So pretty solid effort. I think, a lot of people, me included, didn't necessarily think they could come out of Austin Peay with a win. I thought they had a chance, but I didn't really think they would play as well as they did. So I'm glad to be wrong on that. And Bulldogs picked up a big victory and were able to extend their season by 1 game. next game we have they in Daytona. The Arkansas State Red Wolves defeat Bethune-Cookman Wildcats by a score of 86-85. Very, very tightly contested game. Um, Wildcats actually trailed in this game at the half by 5, and they had a big second half, outscoring Arkansas State by 10 points to cut this thing down to a 1 point margin and drop the game there. They were in this game for a long stretch, and obviously when you look at a game that's a 1 point game, you're in this game whether you were leading or you were trailing. The fact that you can cut it down to one puts you in a good situation. So Wildcats ultimately come up short, finish their season at 17-17. Again, they were another team who did not really was not really expected to have an extra game, but they were able to get one, and they didn't have to travel far. So that's a good thing. But like I said, this game was really tight for long stretches of it. Um, Wildcats, they played some solid ball in this game. Fell behind by 8 early, but were able to chip away and keep the game tight after that. And second half, like I said, they played a really good second half, outscoring the Red Wolves by 10 to pull out the victory. Looking back at the box score for this game, we'll take a look at the leading scorers for both teams. Arkansas State was led by Hicks with 21 points. He was 8 of 15 from the field, 5 of 9 from the free throw line. He finished the night with 9 rebounds to lead the team. Also, they had all 5 starters in double figures. Fields finished with 16 points on the night. He had 6 assists and 6 rebounds. He also Nelson and Ford each had 12 points, and Todd had 10 points. They did the bulk of their scoring from their starters. They ended up with 15 points off of their bench. While Red Wolves to 52% from the field, only 25% from 3 of 12 on the night, and 62% from the free throw line. They finished the night with 41 rebounds. They had 14 assists, 3 steals, and 7 blocks, and 15 turnovers. Bethune-Cookman was led by Jacoby Hetty with 19 points. He was 8 of 14 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 3 of 6 from the line, finished with 5 rebounds and 2 assists on the night. Also, Deshaun Dyson had 14 points and 2 rebounds. Also had 3 steals. He was 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, 6 of 19 from the field. Zion Harmon, 11 points and 2 rebounds, also 4 assists and 1 steal. He had 4 of 13 shooting from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. And Carter Hollinger finished the night with 15 points off the bench and 3 rebounds. He paced the bench. They finished with 28 points off of their bench. So they had a little bit better bench output, but they didn't play too deep in their bench. They shot 48% from the field, 41% from 3, and 71% from the line. They finished the night with 28 rebounds, so they got out rebounded in this game. 12 assists, 9 steals, 5 blocks, and 6 turnovers. So, like I said, they finished their season as 17-17. Was a really solid outing. Definitely a winnable game. These are the kind of games that you want to put yourself in position to pick up those victories, because when you have those postseason opportunities, they're not always going to be there for you to get those wins. And when you have that opportunity to get that win, you definitely should. You definitely have to take advantage of it. But they ultimately came up short. And that brings us to our final team in the postseason, Grambling State. They made the big dance, got in as a 16 seed, had to play in the first 4 against Montana State. First time making the NCAA tournament for the Tigers, got their first victory in the first 4 against Montana State, and would go on to play Purdue in the first round, round of 64, whatever you want to call it. Really great season for Grambling, regardless of the outcome. But let's take a look at the Tigers game against the Bobcats of Montana State. This was a game that they had to fight and claw in. They fell behind early, and at one point they were down by 17 points or so. Came back, tied the game up, went to overtime, and won it in overtime, 88-81. Outscored the Bobcats 39-30 in the second half and 16-9 in the overtime period. So they really had a really solid second half and overtime. Got some great production from some of the bench guys. Jamil Kofer finished with 19 points. That was a career high. He was 7 of 9 from the field, 5 of 6 from the line. Also had 2 rebounds on the night, and 2 steals. Mikael Stevenson finished with 10 points off the bench. He also had 1 rebound and 1 assist and 1 steal. He was 4 of 8 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and 2 of 2 from the line. Burnett and Smith both finished with 18 points apiece. Smith was 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 4 of 5 from the line. He had 9 rebounds on the night, 3 blocks and 2 steals. Burnett was 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 6 of 7 from the line. He also had 5 rebounds on the night. Moten and Dozier only combined for 12 points in this game, and they still won it. So when you get that kind of production from other guys, you're going to be tough to beat. And Grambling finished the night with 41 rebounds. They had 11 assists, 11 turnovers, 4 blocks, and 6 steals. Shot 33 of 66 for the night, 50%, including 3 of 5 in overtime. They were 4 of 10 from 3 for 40%, and 78% from the free throw line, 18 of 23. They finished with 52 points in the paint, 23 points off of turnovers, 19 second chance points, 3 fast break points, and 35 bench points. This game had 8 ties and 6 lead changes. Very tight game after a while. It took a little while to get going. Grambling started off a little slow, but they were able to fight back. And they fell behind again and were able to come back and ultimately pull it out at the end. Robert Ford led Montana State with 26 points. He was 9 of 13 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3, 2 of 3 from the line. He also had 6 rebounds and 4 assists. No steals, and he's a guy who really gets his hand on the ball a lot. Came up with no steals, so that was good for Grambling. Also, Brian Goracki had 15 points and 4 rebounds. He was 4 of 9 from the 3-point line, 5 of 11 from the field. 14 points for Brandon Walker. He had a great first half, kind of cooled off in the second half and overtime. He was 7 of 10 from the field. Had 6 rebounds. And John Olmstead finished with 10 points off the bench. Bobcats finished with 27 rebounds, so Grambling had a 14 rebound edge. They won the edge there, which I figured they would. They are a more physical team than Montana State. 18 assists, 12 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 9 steals. 51% shooting for the Bobcats. Only their shooting went down as the game went on. They shot 62% in the first half, 45% in the second half, and 33% in overtime. Same thing with their 3-point shooting. Finished shooting 43%, which is great. 13 of 30, but they were 6 of 11 in the first half for 54%. Second half, they were 5 of 12 for 41%. And overtime, they were 2 of 7 for 28%. So as you can see, that shooting just went down all game long. They were 53% from the free throw line, 8 of 15, including only 1 or 2 in the overtime and 2 of 5 in the first half. So just not they could not keep up that torrid shooting pace that they had in the first half. And a lot of it was Grambling. Grambling was able to make this game be what they wanted it to be, and they ultimately were able to pull ahead and get the dub. 28 points in the paint for Montana State, 8 points off of turnovers, 3 second chance points, 4 fast break points, and 16 bench points. And that win propelled Grambling to a matchup against Purdue in the round of 64 on Friday. It was a competitive game. I mean, you look at the score, and you see a double-digit victory for Purdue, but even with Grambling being outsized because of Zach Edey, they still held their own for good stretches of the game once they kind of got going. It took them a while to kind of figure some things out, but they were able to get some points. They found some success in the mid-range with pull-up jumpers, and they were able to kind of do some things against Purdue that kind of helped them, especially when Edey came out. That helped them. That helped them stay the course in this game. But a team like Purdue, you can't give them you can't get them the 3-point shot like that. You can't let them establish themselves inside, which with a 7-foot guy against your guys, and all your bigs are picking up fouls. It's hard to maintain any kind of consistency inside. But I thought Grambling made a great showing in the first half. Second half, like I said, it just wore down and couldn't keep pace and lost 78-50. And the season ends at 21-15 and 14-4 in conference. First tournament appearance, first tournament victory. That I expect to see more from them in the future. Tremichael Moden finished with 21 points, two assists and 4 rebounds. He was 8 of 18 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. Also Dozier, 16 points, 6 of 17 from the field. Didn't make a 3, 0 for 1, 4 of 4 from the line. He had 4 rebounds. And when you look at it, the bulk of their rebounds came from their guards because they really couldn't do a lot inside with the size of Purdue, especially with Edey when he was in the game. It made it really tough for their bigs to even do anything. So they didn't really get a lot of production from their bigs. Aku only had 3 points. Jordan Smith had 2 points. Stevenson 6 points off the bench. And Layman had 2 points. Grambling finished with 23 rebounds. They had 11 assists, 6 turnovers, 6 blocks, and 8 steals. They would shoot 36% from the field, 25% from 3, and 70% from the line. They had 18 points in the paint, 13 points over turnovers, 3 second chance points, 7 fast break points, and 8 bench points. Game was tied twice early. No lead changes. Zach Edey finished with 30 points and 21 rebounds for Purdue. 11 of 17 from the field, 8 of 14 from the line. He also had 3 blocks on the night. Braden Smith, 11 points. Trey Kaufman-Wren, 11 points as well for Purdue. They finished with 48 rebounds, so they obviously dominated the boards against Grambling. When you got one guy with 21 rebounds, you're going to probably win the rebounding battle. They had 23 assists, 10 turnovers, 5 blocks, and 4 steals. They shot 47% from the field, 37% from 3, and 59% from the line. So when you look at their shooting numbers, they didn't shoot the ball great, but they had, obviously they had the size differential that they needed to kind of change the complexity of the game. And that was really all that it was. 34 points in the paint for them, 8 points off of turnovers, 19 second chance points, 7 fast break points, and 12 bench points. The thing is, when you're playing a great team, you have to beat them more than they have to beat you. And so they kind of did whatever they needed to do to get out of this game. Like I said, it didn't shoot great. Second half, they did shoot 15 of 27 from the field, but never really caught fire from 3. And they were not great at the free throw line, especially early, going 4-10 in the first half. But, with the physical differences between the two teams, I thought Grambling played a great first half to keep it within double digits at the half, going in down 9. Could have probably went down a little bit less, but they couldn't make it happen. Came out of the half. Purdue was able to kind of go on a run early and stretch that lead out. And once it got over 15, it was kind of no looking back. So great season for Grambling, even with this game ending the way it did. Like I say, finished 21-15, first NCAA tournament trip, first NCAA tournament victory. So that's a bunch of positives, and that's a lot of great things to build on. So we'll be back, like I said, sometime this week with another edition of Swag Talk. I'll catch y'all then. Also, Swag Smoke on Thursday, live 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And with that, I'm going to holler at y'all on the rebound. Peace.